Good morning. I'm higher vibrations, and so are you. And welcome to the next phase of our awakening. A lot of individuals across the board right now are having an increased ascension experience. This can feel alarming because we don't really know what's happening, especially if we don't know what's happening. Um, and we often automatically will go to, oh, there's something wrong with my body. Am I going to be okay? And so please, if there is any reason for you to feel the need to go to a medical professional, do it. Like the worst thing that can happen is that they tell you that you're fine and you're in perfect health, and then you can be validated and reassured that you really truly are an ascension symptom experience. Vegan Vixen, hello everyone. Blessings from Wales, UK. Welcome. Feeling so sad and down. Stomach issues. I was going to bring the stomach up. I will in a minute. Detachment and very anxious. Anyone else? The anxiety is awful. It makes me feel quite ill. It's still raining where Mandolin is. Oh my goodness. Hello, welcome. So let's address this. Vegan Vixen's comment was very on point. Hi, Stacy. Good to see you. Patriot Hero, welcome. Kelly's here. Vanya's here. Welcome, everybody. So Vegan Vixen had a really interesting point. The stomach thing and the anxiety stuff. So what's happening right now is we've moved through the best way to describe it is, so we're careening through the cosmos, right? And there's various, almost like not checkpoints or pit stops, but just a place where we can activate, we can turn on certain parts of our DNA. The dormant DNA that was called junk DNA for a long time, oh yeah, they put a lot of garbage in your body. You're a platypus. Those creatures are so cool, by the way. I just love them. Anyway, and so now all this DNA is being turned on. It's coming out of its dormancy. And as we pass like these energetic spaces, as we like speed through the cosmos, some other things are turning on. And where we are right now, for the most part, a lot of people are in the sacral chakra space. So that's the second up from your root chakra. So that's a lower belly, stomach stuff. As well as a little bit higher, we're having a lot of solar plexus stuff as well. Those particular areas have had a lot of reports, and I'm also having that experience. For me, it's a lower one. It's a sacral chakra, and there's a discomfort there, and it's not the most awesome sensation, to be honest. However, just know that to let yourself relax, be gentle with yourself. I found that Epsom salt baths always seem to assist me in these experiences. Let's address the anxiety as well. There's a lot of what's happened recently. All of a sudden, overnight, basically, we have all of these new people who are awakening. And for us to feel all of them is kind of an understatement. What we're experiencing is more like we're feeling them, but then we're also feeling their surge of confusion, upsetness. There's a variety of different experience. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, everybody's been lying to me all this time, and that type of stuff. Though at the same time, we're having that they don't know what's going on experience exactly. So they're having all of their like weird sensations like we are, but they don't know what it is. So they're going into panic often. And so a lot of us are feeling that panic or that anxiety of what's happening to me. I mean, what we've been going through is a pretty big deal, over several years, truly. And, amping up more and more as we get to this now moment. And now a lot of these individuals are getting virtually the same amount of things that we've already gone through, like over a series of days or weeks. It's a lot. It's like trying to take a drink of water, a sip of water from a fire hydrant, like it does, and it's just a lot. So that is another cause for that. And simply just turning on those chakras as well. So just keep that in mind. That's where we're at right now. Most of you, if you're here, one of the things that is really common for all of us is that we're really good in the upper four chakras. Like that's our home. We're very familiar. We know how to use them. And, like even though when we first start to awaken, we're like, open the third eye. How do I decalcify my pineal gland and all that stuff, which is great. Though we don't need to work so much on that particular chakra as we do the lower three. That's a space that we just aren't naturally at home. So Kelly says, oh, let me hear you. I missed a. Vanya says, good evening, all. Boy, has it been a tough week. It's been a roller coaster ride all along. God, please, God, give us strength to pull through. Amen. We know we can. Just believe. Lord, or love and blessings and light. Yes, exactly. I mean, what we're going through is pretty intense right now. We are at the eve of that precipice that we've been talking about, the 27th precipice. Um, Thank you for the birthday wishes, everyone. That was really sweet of you. Um, and so as we're in this precipice stage, it's just like anything else. When you open a door, then there's a whole new variety of element that can be introduced into your experience. And when that happens, there's like this disorientation, similar to being in the house for a long time and with the dim lights and things, and going out into the sun and blinking blindly at the sun, trying to kind of get your bearings. That's kind of the thing that's happening now energetically for us. Um, a lot of stuff that's going on with the lower part of the head, by the way, right? I don't know what that part of, like the little place just as it meets the neck. There's some pressure and things that are happening there. I haven't actually tuned into that until we started talking today. So I'm finding that really fascinating. It almost feels like it's like a chakra activation or something. We have so many chakras. We talk about the 7, though there are so many chakras that we don't even discuss that are within our body, and it's a variety of different smaller chakras and clusters, as well as just all kinds of stuff. And so as we move through, we're turning on these other chakras. So Patriot Hero, hi, nice to meet you. Welcome, good to see you. Kelly says, feel tired and emotional one day and then perfect the next. The energies are all over the place. Yeah, the roller coaster ride that we're all going through right now. That is everyone's report, by the way. All of us, and no matter where you are in your ascension experience, you can be brand new or you can have been doing this for a long time and being able to maintain a higher frequency. It affects all of us. It's a dip. And it's like, what is occurring? It's kind of like turbulence, right? All this stuff is coming in for us. And as we raise our frequency from here up to here, by the way, wherever we're at is the correct place to be. You're doing great. Just keep doing what you're doing, and then you will find that you want to raise up. And then that will be the correct place for you to be. And as we raise up, we don't just do this straight line up. There's like this kind of a motion, which is also why a lot of us will get in and out of focus stuff when it comes to like light orbs and the faint white silhouette, almost aura-like silhouette around a person's form, but you don't see the person inside, and all those types of things. They come to in and out of focus. For a little bit there, I actually thought that I was getting to an age where I was requiring glasses, and my eyes are perfectly fine. And then I realized what was happening was some things more than just these light orbs and stuff were slowly coming into our focus. And case in point, there is a lot going on right now globally in the archaeological scientific world where all of these discoveries and revelations are being made. This is a chicken before the egg kind of a story that I don't really know the answer to. It could be that they're all of a sudden trying to, okay, fine, they're ready, let's tell them about it. But what seems also correct at the same time is that as we raise our frequency, our vibrational frequency up to a higher level, where some of these other ancient artifacts and ancient technologies that are where they are, we're raising our frequency up to match that and then able to perceive it. So that's just very interesting. I saw Vanya mentioned blurred vision and eye issues, extreme fatigue and sadness, and that fits right into what I was just talking about exactly. And the tiredness and extreme fatigue stuff, I'm really struggling with that, honestly. It's also, I'm struggling to sleep. Not like insomnia, I just don't want to. And so I stay awake far too late for no particular reason, just to be in the moment that I'm in. And then I'm yeah, it's a thing. Hi, Stace. Yes, I said hi to her. Mandolin says, animals having lots of digestive issues. Yeah, me too. It just feels like that pressure and just uncomfortable. A lot of like Buddha belly kind of symptoms, only a little bit more extreme, I would say. You know, and Stacy says, I can relate to the sadness too, and the tiredness, emotional ups and downs. Yeah, and I kind of wanted to address more what was mentioned earlier about the sadness, is that these dips, these emotional experiences that we're moving through right now, it's happening a lot. So what's actually occurring, energetically speaking, is we're pulling away like a Velcro, like we're or a Band-Aid, perhaps. We're not doing the whole at the same time. It's like, and when we do that, each time we pull away, and we're pulling away from a denser experience from team body, because that no longer works with our body any longer. We're no longer resonating at that frequency. And so as we raise, this lower frequency stuff that was part of our experience no longer resonates, no longer is in harmony. And so we're pulling away. As we pull away, that last moment of pull away, that is when this denser energy, almost like it feels like it's changing its mind last minute. Never mind. Wait, kind of almost feeling. And we're feeling that sensation. Most often it comes through in a sense of mourning or loss, like grieving. And to honor that, I have found the most useful thing to do is to allow myself to be in that mourning space for a moment, to no matter how awesome it is that where you're going to, leaving behind a dilapidated house that you spent all of your life in, is still sad. There's still this, oh, I'm leaving, kind of sensation. And so we're also experiencing that. And so to honor yourself and allow yourself to feel that can help you in that experience. So that's just something to keep in mind. Deb says, fatigue, no energy, difficulty meditating. We will make it. A lot of people are reporting difficulty meditating, feeling disconnected all of a sudden. That video that I had posted the other day, I did that in the middle of the night. That's why it came out. I just created it and put it out because everyone seems to be having this sensation right now. Most of the one-on-ones I was holding, they were also just coming because they wanted to know what was going on, why their ascension stopped. This is to reassure you, your ascension has not stopped. We are all on this thing. What's occurred truly, if it's what really it looks like energetically, and I don't know how else to describe it, but the visuals that I get and then I get to see, but it's like, so it's basically like we were the top of the class for our elementary or our junior high, or I think they call it middle school now instead of junior high. That aged me, huh? Anyway, and then you move into the next school. So say that you were, an 8th grader and you're in your junior high and you're like so happy and you're the top of the class, and then you become a freshman. And all of a sudden it's just like, whoa, I don't have my status or whatever. And that's not exactly the status and stuff isn't exactly what applies here, but that movement does. And as we're moving up to that, all of a sudden we feel inadequate. We feel ill-equipped. We feel incapable even. Many of us are feeling like that disconnected sensation with others, with energies, empathically speaking, used to being connected to everything, and then suddenly not. Know that you have not been left behind. You are not abandoned, okay? This is a typical experience that happens every 2 years. It just happens. This is part of the cycle that I have observed anyway. The first few times can be very startling. And then you get to find that it's also a reset. So when you enter a new school, you get to leave behind all of the baggage of the false identities or whatever it is that you were trying to live up to. Perhaps you were somebody when you started that school, and then over the years you had matured and grown into someone different. But we're still trying to maintain your, I don't know, who you thought you were supposed to be kind of thing. And the similar thing is happening here. It's a reset. We're moving into an energetic space where everyone already knows who we are. Like there's not the idea of lying as well as you would say, I suppose, energetically speaking, like within ourselves, pretending that we're energy that we're not. So I don't know. I hope that made sense and that helped in some way. I just skipped way ahead and lost everybody. I'm sorry. Let me see. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry about that. Vanya says, oh yeah, I read that. Nicole says, Vegan Vixen Christina Lopes has an awesome ascension meditation that's awesome and works for the anxiety. Love Christina Lopes. She is so cool. I'll actually post something in the chat or in the comment section of this video after this is over. At some point after this is over, I got to go to a birthday party after this, but and then to let you have a link to her. She's got some amazing content, really helpful. I resonate with some stuff that she had posted in the past, and that's what's actually coming into mind. What a lot of us are doing, a lot of the population of the planet are doing right now, are undergoing another layer of a dark night of the soul kind of experience, okay? And dark night of the soul is truly just simply saying that we're going through a period where we're needing to do some inner work, some inner child work, some shadow work, and there's a variety of resources out there for that. I will, while I'm at it, posting the Christina Lopes link in the comments later on, I will also post a particular shadow work meditation that I found very useful when I was struggling with it, and I go back to it for people all the time. And it's by Aaron Apke. He did some really good meditations for that type of thing. So as a collective going through this dark night of the soul experience, well, all that is a shedding. It's a moving away from things that don't serve us any longer, like we're doing all the way across the board in every capacity, right? And so allowing yourself to do that really assists you. The pieces of yourself that are hidden, those parts that are, you know, that are revealed and seen in your inner child work or your shadow work, are the things that we've edited, like I talked about when we were in middle school, and didn't let yourself kind of evolve because you were trying to fit a standard that was perceived from previous experience. And so we edit those things off from ourselves and kind of hide them in. And the allowance of these things to come out, to no longer be caged, and to be part of the collective and part of the experience, liberating them and finding that those things that were edited often are some of your best and most amazing superpowers, you know. And so it can be a very beautiful experience. I have found that when I resist it, it ends up being a long, drawn out thing. So to keep that in mind. Let's see, we got, hi Carmen, thank you. And Kuldeep, thank you. Not motivating at all, Mariette says. Not motivating for, I'm sorry, I was way behind. Thank you, Kuldeep, for the birthday wishes. I understand that there is definitely some struggles with a lot of this stuff. It doesn't feel like that there's going to be much relief anytime soon. And there is. We have these moments. And what we're being, the word that is being given to use for this time, by the way, I keep calling it reset and stuff. The word they're using is respite, which is a very foreign word to me. I don't use that word for any other purpose, you know, take a break, rest. But respite in particular is important for this, to explain what we're going through. And in a respite, we are often, you know, very worn down and truly needing like a break, to, you know, pause, you know, and while that occurs, whatever sleep you can get, allow yourself to rest. You know, meditation doesn't have to be so in depth as we like to do. It's fun doing those kinds of meditations, but to allow yourself just to sit in yourself, be in your own body, and to anchor that body. When you anchor that body with the light coming down from God and also the light coming up from Gaia's heart, we can connect. And through that movement of energy, of life cycling, life force energy that moves through, that kind of crosses at the heart center is how I see it. That thrusts us into our next experience and kind of maintains us until then, basically, as well. I don't know if that helps at all, but I hope that you try it. Jackie, hi gang, good to see you. Jeff says, hi Pamela, thanks for this timely video. Thank you for joining us, Jeff. Vegan Vixen, oh, happy birthday, Pamela, thank you. Jackie says, I'm so nauseous and lightheaded today. I've been feeling a lot of lower abdomen stuff today as well. It's been really uncomfortable, to be honest. I do know that I have been kind of guided over the past couple of days to do this fast, not by any outside source. I just all of a sudden just don't have an appetite in a very real way and just have no desire. Perhaps that's a symptom for you that is similar to what I'm going through, Jackie. I'm just like being nauseous. I just don't have the desire to eat. Spiritually speaking, and all kinds of different backgrounds and stuff, when there is about to be some kind of upgrade or some kind of leveling up, some kind of spiritual enlightenment ceremony or moment, the monks and rabbis and stuff, I don't know, there's usually a fasting period before it. And so it feels very reminiscent of that, and letting that kind of allowing your body to clear out itself and to move into that accepting place, to be emptied and void of all the things that are holding you down, in order to be able to accept what's next. Excuse me. Vegan Vixen said, toothache and sinus issues. That's been a really common one. A lot of people are starting to have that again. I'm not having it in myself. I'm noticing it feels like that my gums are unhappy, and then they're fine. It's very, what I mean by that, it just feels like there's pressure. Very interesting thing. Most often that has to do with the throat chakra. So we're opening up our throat chakra, and people will have stuff in like their thyroid. They'll have like, stuff going on in their throat, with their throat, dental trauma, all kinds of oral related stuff. So we've been talking about recently the jaw thing. People are being diagnosed with TGI or TMI or something. I can't remember what it's called. It's that, like, when you grind your teeth thing. However, there's no evidence of them grinding their teeth. At least a few of them that I've talked to. Anyway, so that's another point. So there's a lot of stuff going on with that throat chakra thing. If you'd like to kind of like buff up that throat chakra spiritual muscle, there are a lot of groups, not just mine, that run these group Zoom meetings that are free, and it's really helpful. By the way, I am so sorry to everyone that I was not able to attend and to make the meeting for last Friday happen. We lost all of our internet for the whole town. And interestingly enough, we got some really, really cool northern lights or aurora borealis the night before, and that massive impact of that big solar flare. I live in a place that doesn't get northern lights, so for that to be a thing was a big deal. And I'm very suspicious of that having to be, there's something to do with that and the internet being gone. So I apologize we weren't able to do that. We will be meeting again, however, this coming Friday. And so that meeting starts at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's free. And it's just a bunch of us talking. A bunch of us like this, only there's other screens. You don't have to have your camera on or your audio on, but it's very useful to at least have your audio on to allow that throat chakra activation and movement to happen. Most of us are being restricted in this space because so many lifetimes, including this one, there's been consequence if the truth is spoken, or if they're being their authentic true self. And so this kind of allows you a space to do that, to find the camaraderie and the family and companionship of others who are on this journey with you, and that can validate our experience. So I always post a link for that in the community section the day before. So that'll be posted on Thursday of this YouTube channel, and then you can join that. Also, I have one more quick announcement before I forget, that tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, for 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'll be around there. I'll be on with Todd Medina in Zoology. His YouTube channel is a channel I like to follow. He's got a lot of really cool guests on there. So if you're interested, you're welcome to join me there too. I'll put up a link when one's available. Yes, my teeth having weird sensations. That there's a lot going on with that. Nova, happy birthday. Thank you so much. Night owl fever. I love that. It's something about being up at night. It's so everything makes so much more sense when it's nighttime. Stacy says, "Oh shoot, sorry, forgot. Happy birthday, Pamela." Oh, thank you. It's actually tomorrow, so it's okay that you didn't really forget. It's a significant one, being that I've been given visions about this particular year of my life since I was 6 years old. This is a really cool moment. Like, this is the reason to hold out. This year and the next year or two is the reason to not give up. We're finally here. I'm so excited. I'm starting to cry. It's just so cool. Thank you for all the love, everyone. I love you all so much. And also thank you for the 2.5 subscribers. Having so many of you come along on this journey with me has been so beautiful. I'm just gonna cry on live. Um, having such like connections and just to feel the higher vibrational frequency space that happens when we connect and when we unite, and to have these beautiful Zoom meetings and to have that partnership has just been so beautiful and so lovely. I lost my spot. Rupali, thank you. Happy birthday, she says. I need to kind of come back to where I was at. I'm sorry. You guys have written more than I realized. I apologize. I went on a tangent, I guess. Is anyone else having knee pain and heaviness and feeling like your knee is about to give birth? Then the next day is much better. It comes and goes. So that's from Mother Nature 61. And I want to validate that one really quickly because that is something that's really important. Knee stuff, knee and elbow, by the way. A lot of people are having both or one. I've heard a lot about shoulders too, though. I find that has to do a lot more to do with the realization that you have wings, kind of thing. And so, sorry, I'm a mess. It's a beautiful love mess, though. So, with the knee stuff, a lot of us, as we're moving this density, remember we talked about pulling away from that density. A lot of it's kind of feeling stuck in some places, and not stuck forever. It's just like I'll just give it a second, it'll jerk away, kind of stuck. And that's the sensation that we're getting there. A lot of us, you know how when you are clearing your house, you're smudging, you're using the sound bowls, whatever it is, you notice that the stuff, the densities that need to move out the most are stuck in the corners. The same is true for our body. That's kind of where it goes. That also is mentioned in the emerald tablets, how the light always moves at a curve. I'm not going to quote the words correctly, though. I've seen this, and that was actually why I was like really into the emerald tablets, because it talked about stuff that I was already given understanding for, and that this other energy moves like more like like sharp corners, and in those sharp corners, that's kind of where they take resonance. So when we are feeling a lot of this stuff in our joints and stuff, I find it very, very useful to get some Epsom salt or any kind of salt really, and put it on a wet cloth, like you're going to scrub your skin, exfoliate your skin kind of, and just put that on that space, and then to rinse it off, or to take a bath, a foot soak about with Epsom salt in it, or pink Himalayan salt is another thing that I use, and the most long-lasting results doing that to relieve some of the uncomfortable sensation, we send the light from God to those specific spots. And that all that does is truly it illuminates it, and it gives it a method to leave, knowing that these energies don't want to stick around either, so allowing them an access point, a way to get out, is service to you as well as to the energy. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to say your name, but I feel like my stutter is going to jump over this. But Ardavan, love and light for you, my sister. Thank you, Ardavan. It wasn't as hard as it seemed. It's I don't know. It's funny. I love how many people are here. Thank you for all joining. Kuldeep, it was cutting out for me, and now it's working. Oh, is anybody else having struggles with my connection today? I apologize for that. Let's see. Jackie, me too. Love Christina Lopes as well. I found her Ascension Symptom video over a year ago. It was so helpful. It led me to Pamela. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat that Christina Lopes led you to me. That's fun. Patriot Hero says, do you know anything about the global economic collapse and monetary reset? I understand that all systems are slowly breaking down to be replaced by something more beautiful, more correct for us, more in harmony with our frequency that we keep. And money is certainly one of those systems. And so I do think that I do know that it's happening slowly, though. Like the perception that a lot of people seem to be giving messages about is this like all of a sudden, you know, like, and then it's like overnight and everybody's like, oh, like little ants running around freaking out. And I don't see it like that at all. What I see is it's a slow, and it's already been occurring. It's offline for 20 minutes or an hour or a day and here and there, and slowly letting more higher frequency stuff moving into that space, you know. And so I do feel like that timeline is, we're continuing to move through that, to that timeline and through it. It's simply not going to be as startling. Everything is intended to be gradual in this experience. That's where I have struggled the most, to be honest. My patience has worn thin. And so just keeping that in mind. I'm just all over the place. I'm sorry, I'm catching up. Um, Deb says, at 72, I'm learning to put myself first in a nice way, but do not understand. That's so great that you're allowing yourself to put yourself first. That is really important. You cannot feed from an empty cup. And for the longest time, so many of us, at least I was brought up in a way, and I don't know where it came from, honestly, but I was instilled with the belief that if it wasn't hard, it wasn't really service. And so it had to really hurt if it meant anything good. So I was always sacrifice, and giving away things that I needed to be balanced and okay. And so I was in a perpetual state of being ill all the time. I was always ill. And then um, it changed. I suddenly understood that when I take care of myself, that I am taking care of others. It's the most bizarre thing, too. You can see it in the frequency around you, that that exudes from you. It moves off of you and changes the very air that people breathe around you. And then that changes them, and so on. And so knowing that I'm doing service for others by taking care of myself, it's become a lot easier to do it, a lot easier to allow myself to take the nap if I need a nap, or to do things that usually I associated with being lazy or some kind of shame or guilt, that I can just move away from that. When you're helping yourself and you're also living in the space of guilt, which is very close to the fear side of the paradigm, it's counterproductive. It's not helping anybody, right? Um, let me get down to the bottom and then I'll start back up again. Just like, oh, it's somebody else's birthday. Let's see whose birthday it is. It's go 69 is your birthday. Happy birthday. I don't know if I want to say your name because it sounds like it might sound derogatory, but welcome. It's go time, sister. That's right, Mandolin. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Kelly says, went for a barefoot walk in the garden the other night at 3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep and stepped in some dog poop. Oh, I'm so sorry. Something for you to know is that that earthing thing, walking barefoot, is very, very, very helpful. So if any of you don't do that, I strongly encourage that you do. Even if you can't walk, and you could just set your feet in the soil, the grass, the dirt, the water, or whatever it is. If you can't do that in the wintertime, I'll bring in the soil into my house, and I'll just set my feet on top of it while I'm crocheting or whatever it is I'm doing for the winter, you know, and it helps move that through. There's an ionization process that naturally occurs as we contact the earth with our skin, particularly our feet, because the pores are so large. So there's a whole science behind it. It's kind of cool that finally psychology or whatever came out recently and said, hey, by the way, there's this thing called earthing. And so now people are finally doing it. There's a separation that occurred when we started to concrete the world and put shoes on our feet in order to protect ourselves from this concrete. Also, by the way, if all you have around you is concrete, that's better than nothing. Barefoot on the concrete helps. I do it too. 69 says, good morning, USA. I've been feeling that it's going to be a wonderful day. The sun is in the sky, had a smile on its face, and it's shining a salute to the America race. Oh, thank you. Good to see you. Tears of joy, says Nova. Vegan Vixen, we love you too, Pamela. Oh, thank you. And thank you for the birthday wishes, everyone. Vanya says, I am so relieved to hear how many of you guys are night owls. Yes, everything makes sense at night when all is still and quiet. I just love being awake late at night. There's something about it too. So it actually, there was an example shown in that movie Lucy. I don't know if any of you've seen that movie. At one point, she sees all the different signals from different cell phone reception signals and then picks one or whatever. The same thing is happening all day long, particularly when everyone's conscious, when they're awake. And it's like the static and the noise, it's like a very busy, 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 big highway, and so as people go into that place of rest and they're finally going to sleep, all of a sudden the noise it's easier to pick up messages and information. It's quieter. There's not as much disruption and distraction. And so I think that's part of the reason why we enjoy it so much and that it helps us. If I skipped over your comment, I apologize. I'm going to try to go back up, but if I've missed something important, please go ahead and feel free to write it again. Nova says, yes, Pamela, me too. Big programming around self, love, unity, consciousness. Big self is small self. That's awesome. She says, one light, one love. I love that. So true. And as we come into this taking care of our self space, all of a sudden everything else becomes easy. And that's an interesting point too, is that when something is hard, it tends to not be our job. Like, it's really easy. I didn't know that. I was given that message like in 2020. It was an Archangel Michael message. And I was overwhelmed because I was being told I was going to be interacting with people. And I didn't have a single friend anymore. And I didn't feel like I wanted one, and well, I was living out in the forest and being encouraged I was supposed to do this YouTube thing. Like me, I'm not a camera person at all. And anyway, I was overwhelmed by the idea of connecting with so many people and then having to be around all these people. And it was just an overwhelming thought for an introvert like myself. And Archangel Michael said that if it's hard, it's not your job. And the hard stuff is someone else's job that is easy for them. And it comes easy to us when we're in our element, when we're in our mission. And also, if you don't know what your life mission is, then think about what it feels like when you're playing. What kind of play do you do? Everybody has a play where we like often will wait and reward themselves with the thing that they want to do, later on. What is that thing? What is your reward? And often that is your calling. That's your mission. Isn't that great? Like, all this stuff, again, going back to that earlier conditioning of it has to be sacrificed and hard if it's real service. That's not true, as well as this, is that it's easy. It's play when you're doing what you're meant to. So there's that little bit of information that might help you through this. Let's see. Those are comments to each other. Jackie says, you're a camera person now. I try not to be. Star Traveler, neither am I. It's like playing hot potato. Let it go, quit. That's right, Mandolin. Good point. Drop the hard. Okay, I'm totally missing. I'm sorry, I should go back up. Suffering because it becomes a transient state eventually. The more shadow work you do, the shorter the time you feel suffering. Mandolin, thank you for saying that. That's so true. As soon as you give yourself the permission to work on that area, it begins to dissolve itself in that moment. When the decision is made, before the action is really initiated, it's very fascinating to look at. I don't really know exactly the science behind it, but I've watched it occur multiple times for myself as well as others. Okay, thank you for saying it. So it's Goku Fan 69. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, Pamela, me too. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Excuse me. For the past couple of days, Mother Nature 61 says, I've noticed that the ringing in my ears have been changing tones. Yes. And that's another point about that Lucy movie I talked about, where you can pick up the different signals of the telephone call. That's the same thing is true for these ringing octaves in our ears. And a lot of times, not always, there's a variety of different reasons. There's two main ones that I experience. I'm hearing myself, my higher self, in this higher frequency space. When I'm moving into that new space, we're kind of like merging and connecting, and there's that resonance hum that happens, I guess. And then there's also the activations that are happening. So I guess three things. And then this one seems to be the most common for me, is that it's unanswered calls. It's like a voicemail system, and it's messages and downloads for me to receive if I should choose to do so. I noticed that the it became more and more elaborate with multiple tones at the same time. And so I started to like focus in on one single tone, and all of a sudden I'd get a download. Like, whoa, profound. And then it started to happen again and again. So keeping that in mind, perhaps try that. When it's an activation, I automatically will raise my hand in receiving, just as a way of giving consent and accepting for the thing that's coming through. With the so Star Traveler says, my left knee is hurting a little. My shoulder was hurting the last few days. So, and that's another point too, is to find out what side your body is experiencing that. Uh, I know that there are two schools of thought, maybe probably more schools than two. Um, from where I come from, and my background and understanding is the female side is the divine feminine side is the left side, and the right side is the divine masculine. And so that's how my body gets the information. It doesn't. I don't. I almost want to say that it is customized based on what you know it needs, right? Just like when we get visions from spirit, you know, you may think that what I'm describing is silly, though to me that means something. And then I can tell you what it means because I've had that experience in the past and stuff. And so keeping that in mind, for me, that's the left side. That left side is the divine feminine. There's a lot. We anchored the divine feminine in January 2021. Is it 22? I can't remember. I think it was 2022, January 2022. And then we, anchored divine masculine, and then, the divine Christ consciousness. I think the Christ consciousness came first. Anyway, so it's happening again. It's re-anchoring. There's not, and it wasn't completely done kind of energy. And I'm not even sure what that is and why that is. It's simply that it's happening. And so as you're moving through it, as you're getting that experience in this side of your body, just kind of read into it, see what it's trying to tell you. Magdalene has a question. The hot potato reference connects to your Archangel Michael messages. Oh, right. Yes. Thank you. So true. If it's not about you, then move on. Drop it like it's hot. Yes, I love that. You know what? And that's the other point too, is that it's kind of like I'm hogging someone else's job when I'm trying to do it, and I'm doing it poorly because it's not my job. I'm not the specialist for this particular thing, so I'm kind of screwing somebody else out of their job a little bit too when I'm doing that. Not to add guilt to anyone else's experience, but that makes it make sense to me. It's like, oh yeah, I'm one of those people that if someone leaves something out, I'm going to put it away, even if I do it and I'm annoyed by it. Someone's got to do it. Though if you know someone is going to do it, then you won't occupy that space. Vanya says, Pamela, what is the difference between right ear ringing and left ear ringing? Is there a difference? I would say that there is a difference, and it's different. It depends on the person. Again, for me, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, as well as the position. This is interesting to know. I'm very aware of my surroundings, like I'm facing north, I'm facing east, kind of thing, and what direction it's being perceived from. Sometimes the ear ringing sounds like it's right here. Sometimes it sounds like it's in front of your ear, behind your ear, and the direction that I'm being guided to. I use a lot of like the Cherokee kind of ideas of what the directions mean, and understand that it makes sense to me that way. So if it's divine feminine, often we're connecting to the divine feminine of ourself. If it's the divine masculine, it's the divine masculine of ourself, often in lieu or through another energy that's presenting themselves in service to you at that time. Kind of like a whisper in your ear, I guess. Like it could be Archangel Michael on one side and Mother Mary on the other side, which happens to me all the time. Those two come together all the time. It turns out that's really common now. All of a sudden, I was thinking I was so weird that for some reason they never come alone anymore, and it's happening to a lot of people. Um, so yeah, it just it depends on your situation and what you understand those directions to be. Um, Noting that the ear ringing isn't always associated with this. There's another kind of ear ringing thing that it's all of a sudden your ear sounds really muffled, like it's underwater hearing, and the other one will be ringing and then it'll be opposite. There's something else that's happening now too. This is happening a lot actually. It actually sounds like someone is standing holding their hands in front of my ears like this. That echoey sound, that weird, doesn't sound kind of all that real. I'm getting that a lot. And I'm not really sure what that is. I feel comforted by it. Like it feels kind of like silly little brother kind of energy. It doesn't feel bad at all. Just very interesting. It's happening so much. Um, let's see. Catch back up again. Oh, something else before we forget. There's a couple other things that a lot of people are having right now, and one of those is the sensation of feeling like we're drugged, and I want to talk about that for a minute because I kind of tuned into that. A benevolent implant. So Madeline says, Pamela, could you have a benevolent implant? It's I don't think so. I was gonna say I didn't know, but no, I don't think so. Though it's always a very good idea to tune in and to check your implants. Most of us have implants. You can remove your consent from those implants. You can remove them from your body as well. I found it very useful to. Oh right, I was mixed up the word benevolent with like whatever malicious. There you go. They seem like the same thing, like I know they describe the two polar opposites, but they seem like partners. Yeah, so I do. Yeah, I do. Um, what I did in the so what you can do is just in meditation. You don't have to be like deep into meditation, just simply being in quiet of self. And in that quiet self space, declare what you're okay with and what you're not. There's a lot of things that you can remove contracts for. I don't actually believe in the word contract to apply to this situation. Um, and it's more like an agreement. That agreement can be taken away. Your consent can be removed. And so what I had done in a variety of times is I've called out to the implants that are in my body, and I've commanded that they turn themselves off and be and all that is not serving my highest good is how I've worded it. And so those that are for my highest good and that are here to assist me, there is a variety of implants throughout my body. What's bizarre about doing that implant removal thing is no fooling you. It's the most crazy thing. The next day, I found that I was in a. I'm sorry, my door is being knocked on. The next day, I found that these little rice-like deposits were leaving my body. It was the most crazy thing, and so um, it just those were these implant things, and I knew what they were. They were fleshy, but it was very bizarre, and I felt you feel different. The ear ringing sounds different. It's a different frequency, and with those useful implants, they're actually meant to help us. A lot of us, whether or not we recall a full memory of it, have had a variety of ET experience, and in that ET experience, we're often given alignment, assistance. They're coming to help us. They're coming to guide us. And so part of that is to give these individuals, us, like alignment type things like implants and so on. Sorry for my distraction. People are starting to come around. They're an hour early for my birthday party. Um, I'm not going to answer it until I'm done with you all, though. Don't worry. Madeline says, I guess the Q&A is over. Yeah, I noticed that everybody stopped kind of talking. I do want to talk about, before I get too carried away and before it's this heightened recollection that's happening for people right now. So what I mean by that isn't simply recalling your past lives, but it's not as individualized anymore for a lot of people. And I've been here for a little bit too. It's more of understanding what truth is. understanding the history of the world that we're in, as well as like the true history of the world that we're in, as well as just where things are. Like we're kind of being given like an aerial view of the planet in a lot of ways, historically speaking. And so as these recollections come in, I want to just let you know other people, a lot of other people are having them, to not be alarmed. You're okay. That you're not alone. There's a lot of stuff happening. Um, and so just let that, sink in, and that that's normal thing that's occurring right now. And another thing that can assist us for this bloating, this Buddha belly kind of thing, to guide the light there. Again, in that place of meditation and accepting, just being in that, just quiet for a moment, asking and guiding the light that comes down from God all the time down into, usually it's your crown chakra, but a lot of people are being called to breathe it into their heart chakra. As you're bringing in that light, just kind of open up areas of your body that feel like they need it, including, especially for me right now, this torso area, guiding the light to that space. What's really weird is that when we leave a density, when a density is removed or leaves our physical form, the size of it may be this big, but it leaves behind an air bubble this big. And the air is just really uncomfortable when we send light to it. And it's not always air. Sometimes it's water that fills up in that spot, but it's usually air. We send light to it, and it comes back to it. It needs even less space than the density that was there before it. So I'm just letting that move through. As a result, a lot of people are having a lot of gas, burping, and like Jackie says, butt burping and stuff like that. So just keeping that in mind. Let's see. Vegan Vixen, does anyone listen to Brad Johnson? I don't know what to make of him. I actually have never heard that name, so perhaps someone else, anybody else has anyone else heard of him and know anything about him? ZK, have you traveled? I feel like I'm being asked to travel and see past life, and I'm being a scaredy cat. Going through Kundalini awakening, can feel dense energy in my upper stomach. Yeah. Okay. So many are called walkers, basically. And the walkers are those who are grid workers, energy workers, planet workers. We connect all of this stuff energetically through the ley lines and the different stuff in the planet. And as we walk, as we travel, walk, you don't have to, you could be driving too. But as we do this, as we move, this is really cool. I get to see what it looks like. So there's these microscopic, teeny tiny little crystals that are flat. They look like mirrors that are in everything. So a lot of you will see them in the daylight, the sunlight, sometimes the moonlight. Just these little flecks of white everywhere. And what is that? These are these crystals. Our body has them. The ground has them. Everything has these crystals. It's very fascinating. And what happens is that those of you who are walkers, those of you who have this drive to move and to travel and stuff, have a unique set of crystals in your body. When we walk over the land, what we're doing, so all these crystals are flat, or mostly flat. Sometimes they look like this. And then when you walk over it, you bring them up. And when we bring these crystals up, again, they're teeny tiny little guys, but so now it looks like grass, right? And they're all up. And now all of the light that's coming down, the plasma, the awesome stuff that's coming down to help us, can then go straight in. It's also happening in our body as we move through these places that are activated crystal energy spaces. Then our crystals in our body are changing direction. Instead of being like the armor of a dragon and scales, basically, instead we're opening up and directing the light like Indiana Jones, allowing the sunlight to hit a mirror, so to hit another mirror, and then the light can fill into our system and our body more completely. It's really cool. So yeah, a lot of people are being called to walk. I'm knowing that your past experiences, ZK, are simply a sample of what it was like for that time, and that you don't have to invest in any of the actual drama storyline of it, may be helpful. I found that we're not needing to invest in that as much anymore. So we're just kind of looking into what it was like to be in that time. I don't know if that will help you at all. I hope that you do look into it a little bit more. There's a variety of things that you can do. I've heard about people who do QHHT. I've actually never had the chance to do that. There's I know why now. I wasn't meant to yet. It wasn't time. I didn't. That would have been too much information for me at that moment. And so every time I set an appointment, something would happen and stop me from going. Um, what that is it's based on the Dolores Cannon method of of past life regression, as well as like a whole healing kind of thing. And that does assist the individual. There's another form that I've done that I did and this is like a much more like watered down variety. It's called auto regression. There's a variety of videos on YouTube that you can find. Just listen to it before you do it, I would suggest, so you can kind of get an idea that if you feel okay with it or not. And this, what I found, I was actually immediately disappointed because I didn't get anything that came back. And I was just like, oh, this is stupid, whatever. And then it was like a week or so later, all of a sudden, each night before I'd gone to sleep, I got another one and another one and another one. And now all of a sudden these are coming back. And it really helped. It really helped to kind of understand some of the things. The lifetimes I explored in those were 3 lifetimes that I had that there was something to do with punishment as a result of dancing. And that was why I didn't dance. And as soon as I found out that that was the case, I was like, screw it, dude, I'm dancing, and like, that is play. I dance all the time. I dance in the grocery store. I don't care what anyone thinks about it anymore. I just do. So anyway, it's something that helped me. It's a very slow and gradual method. And so honestly, I don't know. I don't have an example to compare it to in my own experience. The Kundalini awakening, congratulations. Congratulations, ZK. That part is exciting and hard at the same time. It's the moment when you realize that you're not riding the training wheels anymore and no one's holding on. So, and Mandolin may have some info for you if you connect with her on Telegram. Those of you who aren't, in the description of this video, as well as every one of my videos for quite a while, there's been a link in my description that will link you to our Telegram group, where we are called the Light Bearers. And it's like 200 of us that are all over the planet. There's always somebody awake. You can connect with somebody saying, hey, does anybody else having this ascension symptom? Or does anybody know what this is? Or whatever. And just checking in, just sending some love. And everyone joins in. It's really cool. And it's just very helpful. So if you're interested in joining our Telegram group, the link is below in the description of this video. Mandolin says, I would love to do a QHHT session for you one day. Oh, that would be cool. QHHT, the Patriot Hero asks, it's quantum hypnosis, something therapy. I can't remember, but what it is it's past life regression, though it's considering the whole. So very quickly, the background, thank you. The background of it is that many of us come from a variety of lifetimes where things have not been resolved, emotional baggage, things that need to be healed, and so our bodies present a variety of different issues in order to get us to, to alert us to this particular emotional baggage that needs to be healed. And a lot of individuals would go to, at the time it was Dolores Cannon, who was at the moment still developing it, really, I think, and having, whole body cancer and crazy stuff like that. And then realizing that, and then going and doing this healing and finding that the cancer would just leave, that the issues would just leave, and I use a lot of her understanding. She taught me a lot in that I automatically, well, not very quickly after I start to have a symptom or an issue with my body, I'll go look it up. What is that associated with? It's really easy. Any kind of internet search engine, you can just type in what emotion is associated with teeth. I don't know. The most common one right now is gallbladder and liver. A lot of people are feeling that, and that, of course, is the solar plexus chakra area, and a lot of people are having that. Solar plexus is the Christ consciousness coming online, and so there's just so much cool stuff. If you've never heard of Dolores Cannon, I strongly suggest that at least one find a video of hers. She talks about the three waves that really is really on point. I'd never heard anyone else describe the visions I'd been getting since I was little. And then this lady, the little sweet grandma sitting in a cozy chair on a stage with curly, tight, short hair, blouse, and she just doesn't like my grandma, but she's talking the truth, and it was really cool. So I suggest you check it out if you have a chance. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for all the beautiful birthday wishes and love that you send. Um, drink more water for kidney stones and also juices. Yes, 100%. Thank you a lot. I love you, and I will do this again next Sunday. We will be having our Friday Zoom meeting. As far as I know, we'll have internet. Um, so thank you so much. And thank you. Yes, thank you for all the likes and subscribes. Sending you so much love.